A quest for excellence is on. From every corner of Britain, 60 bakeries, selected by experts, to battle it out.
Let me cut it, please, before I join. Please, let me cut it.
Are you feeling the pressure, Nick? This'll blow their socks off.
Setting their sights on the ultimate accolade, to be crowned Britain's best.
Rafa, pray.
Winning the competition would be the icing on the cake for me, absolutely.
This is where the pressure kicks in.
6 weeks of tough challenges will see bakers pushed to their limits.
I'm absolutely petrified.
Some will rise.
Something's getting excited here.
Beautiful.
Others will fall.
We've got a disaster on our hands.
Look, stop.
Just one will take the title of Britain's best bakery. On the hunt for Britain's best bakery are expert judges. Mitch Turner, whose cake-making prowess has earned her an MBE, and Peter Sidwell, artisan baker and award-winning chef. Together, they'll be expecting nothing less than baking brilliance across the board.
I'm looking for a real trailblazer of a bakery.
I want to find a bakery that oozes passion and enthusiasm for everything they do.
They're going to have to show us that they've got the drive and ambition to be the very best.
This week, Mitch and Peter are in Derbyshire, where they've set up judging HQ at a cookery school in the grounds of the Catton Hall estate. They'll be putting bakeries from Wales and central England through a series of tough challenges. Today's 3 bakeries hail from Birmingham, the most populated British city outside London, and a richly diverse cultural melting pot. Its prolific industrial heritage has seen the creation of some culinary staples, including drinking chocolate, custard and brown sauce. All 3 of today's bakeries are desperate to go through to this week's regional final. At the judging HQ, the first to arrive is Frost & Snow from Birmingham's Jewellery Quarter.
We're quite nervous but excited as well.
They're competing against Vera's Caribbean Bakery from Hampstead.
We have a good chance of winning the competition.
We're really fired up today.
And our final competitors to arrive are Maison Macy from Moseley.
I'm sure we can win today.
Later, the bakeries will battle it out side by side in the kitchen. But first, they're setting up a display to show off what their bakery does best.
What about popping one in there because it's got a little flower on?
Mitch and Peter believe that in every great British bakery, there is one bake that makes it a go-to destination for their customers.
The specialty bake. This is the one product that should sum up the very best of our bakeries.
It should be the showcase. It's coming back time and time again.
It's this bake the judges will be tasting in today's first challenge, the Speciality Bake. First up, it's community cupcake bakers Frost & Snow. Set in the vibrant, historic and creative gem that is Birmingham's Jewellery Quarter, this community bakery serves both locals and tourists alike.
We are Frost & Snow Bakery! Yay!
Head baker Kath is well known for her novelty cream cheese frosted creations.
Primarily, Frost & Snow is a cupcake bakery. When it was Chinese New Year, we made some with jasmine tea. For Father's Day, we make ones with Guinness.
They even made 7,000 cupcakes for the 2012 Olympic Games.
Famous athletes have eaten my cakes. It's fun to tell the grandkids, for sure.
But this is a community bakery with a difference.
We offer traineeships for people who have been homeless or affected by homelessness.
Birmingham has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the country, as Baker Paul, who trained through their scheme, knows all too well.
Frost & Snow gave me a chance to give me new skills, and it did change my life.
Frost & Snow bake over 5,000 cupcakes weekly, selling both through their coffee shop and filling orders from local businesses.
We've become a little bit of a duo, an unlikely one. I don't think we're dynamic.
But have these community cupcake crusaders got what it takes to become Britain's best bakery?
The competitive side of me wants to thrash everybody.
Will cake expert Mitch think their cupcakes can thrash the competition?
As a bakery that specialises solely in cupcakes, how many different varieties do you make?
We have over 30 different recipes that we can sort of dip into.
Tell me, which of your cupcakes is your speciality bake?
Red velvet. It's one of the best sellers in our bakery.
This unusually coloured American treat is in fact a chocolate sponge made red with food colouring and topped with mascarpone cream cheese frosting. At their central Birmingham bakery, Paul begins by making the red velvet sponge. It's given its famous red hue by combining cocoa and a natural food colouring made from concentrated beetroot juice.
It's a lovely colour. It's really intense.
The unusual combination of baking soda and vinegar creates tiny oxygen bubbles, giving the cake a fluffy texture.
It's not typical, but in that cake it works really well.
John Cadbury started selling cocoa in Birmingham in 1824, initially promoting drinking chocolate as an alternative to alcohol. The cupcakes bake for 20 minutes, while Kath makes what she believes is a mascarpone masterpiece.
I think it's why people like the cake. Mascarpone and icing sugar, butter. Can't really go wrong.
The classic American cupcakes are given a quiff and a liberal sprinkling of red sponge crumbs, and they're ready for the ultimate taste test.
I hope judges will appreciate the flavour and will give us some kind of prize.
There's only one prize on offer, and that's a place in Friday's regional final.
It looks nice and moist. As a red velvet cupcake goes, it is very good.
It has got that comforting texture to it almost that kind of feels good to eat.
And the frosting, because you've used mascarpone in there, it's sweet and it's creamy, so it really feels quite satisfying.
The speciality bake tasting, I think, went really well for us. And we can go forward thinking some great judges thought our cakes were really good.
It had a nice crumb to it, good ratio of cake to frosting. I thought it was really good.
It's an encouraging start for Frost and Snow. Next to take centre stage, Vera's Caribbean Bakery. Nestled in a loop of the River Tame, Hampstead in northwest Birmingham is home to the city's Afro-Caribbean community and a family-run bakery with a passion for spice.
Welcome to Vera's Caribbean Bakery. Why did you stop? I don't know.
Mum of four, Vicky, opened the bakery after developing a love of Caribbean food from her other half.
My husband is Jamaican and he taught me all the Caribbean bread, bun and everything. That's where I learned.
Daughter Natalie works with Vicky at the bakery, and like the products on their shelves, their relationship can be fiery.
12 gram you want, this is too...
It's not meant to be 2, it's meant to be 3.
Oh, that's going to be too heavy.
You done it again, Mum.
And this mother and daughter team believe one Caribbean bake stands out from the rest.
Our patties are our best sellers. They will come in to buy the bread, but when they see their patty, they're like, send me a patty now, and that's it. Patty's gone.
I was talking 10 out of 10 stuff.
This Caribbean baking duo are keen to spice up the competition.
Caribbean bakeries, they're not as much out there as an English bakery. We need to show that we are the best.
And they're hoping spice goes down nice with the judges.
My goodness, there's a real Caribbean flavour of different products on your table. You've got cakes, you've got breads, platted breads with lots of different doughs inside.
Are you quite creative as a baker?
Yeah. She is. When it comes to making cakes or breads or anything, I like to incorporate and do different things to it.
So tell us, what is your speciality bake?
Our speciality bake is jerk chicken patty.
This Jamaican staple has a juicy spiced jerk chicken filling encased in a light and flaky pastry. Back at Vera's bakery, Natalie begins with the jerk seasoning.
This is our secret recipe and something my dad concocted and he ain't telling nobody.
Jerk is a style of cooking where meat is dry rubbed with a selection of very hot spices. Natalie might be tight-lipped on the content of hers, but jerk usually contains a blend of thyme, cinnamon, garlic and hot Scotch bonnet peppers. They barbecue the marinated chicken legs, basting them with jerk spices in soy sauce. It's then chopped and added to minced chicken with more jerk spices.
But we got customers who love spice, especially the English people, they love the spice.
When it comes to patty pastry, flaky and yellow is best. Natalie mixes pastry dough, adding yellow food colouring and iced water.
The colder it is, the better, because we're going to try and make it kind of flaky.
The patty is said to be a product of colonialisation after the introduction of the English pasty in Jamaica. Once the pastry's been rolled and filled, it's baked for 20 minutes. These bakers are hoping their Jamaican jerk fires up the judges.
When they get to the meat, I want them to say this is the best patty they've ever had, and I know it's gonna win.
But will Mitch and Peter be able to handle the heat of Vera's patties?
I can smell the spices already. It's a lovely flaky pastry. It's really nice. And it's got a gentle warmth that's just generating a little bit more warmth as I'm chatting away.
The flavours are kind of lost. All I'm getting is chilli. Whew. Is there a glass of water?
I don't think you want water.
Mitch wasn't too keen on the filling because of the spices, but Peter seemed to have liked the pastry and the filling, so it was more to his liking. So yeah, I believe we have a good chance.
Can you imagine on a cold winter's day, that would really warm you up and give you a bit of a smile, and I kind of like that.
I thought the pastry was well delivered in terms of the flaky texture.
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't mind-blowing.
It's a mixed reception for Vera's jerk patties. Can the final team under the spotlight, Maison Macy, do better? In the well-heeled suburb of Moseley, South Birmingham, brothers David and Remy have brought a little French flair across the channel to add to the city's lively mix.
Bienvenue, we are Maison Macy.
The French bakers started Maison Macy 8 years ago and have been serving up a very traditional selection of bread and sweet treats to the local community ever since.
What we produce is what we grow up with, so it is French, we grow up in France.
Specialising in pastry, David bakes French classics including croissant, a notoriously difficult pastry that takes many hours to perfect and contains hundreds of layers of pastry dough and butter.
You end up with 999 different layers of butter and dough, butter and dough, and butter and dough.
Both brothers trained at Michelin-starred restaurants in France.
I think without the training, we couldn't do what we do.
And they enjoy bringing a touch of France to Maison Macy's customers.
Oh, you've got the really nice chocolate and chartreuse cake. The atmosphere and the ambience in the cafe is definitely French.
Like a French backstreet cafe.
But beneath the demure demeanour, there's a Gallic passion for the competition.
We want to win it!
Will the judges be swept away by their patisserie perfection?
How did two Michelin star trained chefs arrive to open a bakery in Birmingham?
A girl?
A girl! Did you woo her with your cakes and pastries?
I did, 18 years ago.
Your table has a real attention to detail. Everything that I can see is refined. You've thought about the execution and presentation. And what about the flavour?
Well, it's for you to tell me.
So please tell us, what is your speciality bake?
Specialty bake is the Episcopal, which is a chocolate and chartreuse.
And this is the flavouring?
Yeah, people say it tastes like medicine, so...
Right, so it's good for you?
Yeah, it is.
The Episcopal is David's own creation. A sponge cake layered with chartreuse mousse, drizzled with chocolate ganache, and topped with a chartreuse macaron. This original cake from the Michelin-trained bakers uses a botanical liqueur close to their hearts and their home.
Chartreuse is an alcohol made in southeast of France, the pride and joy of our village.
David warms the chartreuse, adding a gelling agent to thicken it. The liquid is mixed into a sweetened custard cream, then whipped cream is folded in to make the mousse. The Chartreuse mousse is piped onto sponge discs, which are then covered with a chocolate mousse. Dark chocolate and whipping cream are combined to make a ganache, then poured over the entire dessert.
Chartreuse, it reminds a lot of people of cough medicine, but because it's a very strong flavor with the dark chocolate, they balance each other out.
David finishes the dessert with flaked white chocolate and their Chartreuse macarons, and a final flourish of French understatement.
I wouldn't say it's up to 3 Michelin star standard. Maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
Technically, that's a beautiful mousse. It just melts away in the mouth. It's so light, so delicate.
I think as a chocolate mousse, it works very well. I haven't got all the sort of the depth of the chartreuse that I was kind of really hoping was going to sort of present itself to me.
It's a lovely dish, but I think you could ramp up the story, and the story is this liqueur.
We try to be a bit conservative with the chartreuse because we thought it would overpower, but he had the opposite effect. It wasn't strong enough.
As a French bakery, they have a huge amount of repertoire and skill and presentation. The Episcopal, sadly for me, didn't deliver.
Had they ramped that up, that one would have been absolutely a winner for me.
At the end of the first challenge, Maison Macy's Episcopal has left the judges underwhelmed, while Vera's jerk chicken spices overwhelmed Mitch's taste buds. But Frost and Snow's comforting red velvet cupcakes got the thumbs up. Now the bakeries will have to take it up a gear, as their creativity is scrutinised in the Wild Card Bake.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites sponsored by Febreze.
Let's get comfortable. You've got an itch in your most intimate area. What are you going to do? Scratch it in the queue? No can do. Let's do something about it. Vagisil Medicated Cream, created by our experts to give you the fast relief you need. Vagisil, your intimate health experts.
The closer we look, the more we discover. That's why 30 years of breast milk research have led us to our most advanced formula yet. If you choose to move on from breastfeeding, new Aptamil follow-on milk with ProNutra Plus includes our highest levels of omega-3 to help your baby's visual development, as well as vitamin D for building healthy bones and iron for brain development, each helping your baby make progress of their own. New Aptamil follow-on milk with ProNutra Plus.
In places like this, shelter is crucial for survival. I made this by simply wrapping myself in a duvet. All I need is to find something to eat. People think this might be poisonous, but when you're up against it, you risk anything.
Watch the real Bear Grylls anywhere you like on Sky Go. Sky, believe in better.
We bring the stars out.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites sponsored by Febreze.
Today at Judging HQ in South Derbyshire, 3 Birmingham bakeries are battling it out for a place in Friday's regional final. It's time for the judges to turn up the heat with the next challenge. The Wild Card Bake. Each bakery has been asked to devise a bake combining a particular ingredient and method chosen by the judges. Today, the ingredient is lemongrass, and the method is biscuit.
I think our bakeries need to think really carefully about what biscuit they incorporate.
I think this is going to really challenge our bakeries because lemongrass is not an ingredient that you would normally see in a bakery.
There's no time limit in this challenge, but the judges will be looking for inspiration and creativity. At Vera's Caribbean Bakery in Hampstead, mother and daughter duo Vicky and Natalie are embracing the challenge.
Lemongrass has excited me because it's something that I've never tried before.
Lemongrass is commonly used in Asian cuisine, mainly in savoury dishes.
I'm going to experiment today and see how well everything comes out. Knowing me, it's going to probably need a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of this and added to it.
Vicky and Natalie have decided to make a lemongrass and ginger shortbread with a caramelised lemongrass topping. The biscuit will sandwich a homemade ice cream.
We'll see. Like an experiment.
Natalie starts by adding lemongrass and ginger to a shortbread mix. Shortbread needs a lot of butter and thorough baking to ensure a light, crumbly texture. Natalie experiments with using colour in the mixture.
I'm not too keen on how the green come out.
While they bake, Natalie makes ice cream in a plastic bag. She makes the ice cream blend, mixing milk, sugar, vanilla extract and rum.
This tastes nice. Rum tastes nice.
Natalie seals the bag of ice cream mixture and places it inside a second bag of ice and salt, shaking the two together for 5 minutes. By mixing ice and salt, the freezing point of the ice is lowered and becomes so cold it freezes the rum mixture.
Ice cream. See?
Vicky creates the caramelised lemongrass topping by heating a mixture of sugar, water and lemongrass.
Can you smell it? Yeah, when it starts to boil down.
It smells nice, actually.
Caramel is notoriously hard to make because the timing is crucial.
It's not ready.
None left.
No, it needs to boil down some more. The fire needs to be high.
Once the mixture comes to the boil, stirring should be avoided, or it won't caramelise properly and will be grainy.
It hasn't caramelised, look, see? See how it look? Look, Mum.
Vicky will have to start again. Not stirring the mixture leads to a better result on the second attempt.
Yeah, it's ready now.
Drop it in. Drop the lemongrass in first.
Happy with the lemongrass caramel, it's time to taste.
That one there.
And taste the lemongrass. It's not very strong taste. It's very smooth taste.
It needs ice cream on it because the ice cream will work like a sauce. Lemongrass, ice cream and a biscuit. It's nice.
Vera's final offering to the judges, a lemongrass and ginger ice cream sandwich with a topping of caramelised lemongrass.
So how many attempts did it take for you to come up with this?
3 times.
You like your creativity, don't you?
I like this one.
That's it.
You've managed to keep the biscuit really crunchy, yet the ice cream is wonderfully refreshing between the layers.
The biscuit is lovely and crispy, and with that lovely creamy ice cream, it works incredibly well. It's got a great contrast. I'm not getting a massive amount of lemongrass going on there, but the biscuit really stands up against the ice cream really well.
To a degree, yes, I agreed with the judges. I didn't slap enough of the syrup on it.
I thought that the idea was interesting, gave us a wonderful experience.
It was lovely and cool and refreshing, really wonderful crunch. Just didn't get the lemongrass.
Vera's crisp biscuits lacked the flavour hit the judges hoped for. Over in Moseley, Michelin-trained Maison Macy hope to deliver innovation by putting a spin on a British classic.
We talked together and we all came up with the same thing, then biscuit goes with tea and dunking.
David and Remy are making a biscuit teacup that will be filled with a lemongrass and Earl Grey custard and served with a coconut macaroon. They start by making langue de chat, or cat's tongue biscuits, mixing eggs, icing sugar, flour and butter.
That's gonna be the cylinder for the teacup.
In their traditional form, these whimsically named French biscuits resemble a cat's tongue, and they can be easily moulded when warm. After baking for 8 minutes, the brothers build their teacups using white chocolate to stick the biscuit pieces together.
We haven't actually tried to put any custard in the cups, so that will be the challenge, having the watertight cup.
Now for the lemongrass custard. David mixes eggs and sugar, adding milk infused with Earl Grey tea and the important lemongrass.
Just gonna cook it now and cool it down.
The mixture is heated under David's expert eye.
It's the hardest things to master. If you overcook it, you'll end up with scrambled eggs. And if you undercook it, it will just be water with egg yolk in it.
For the bake to be a success, the biscuit teacup must be able to hold the lemongrass custard. The dessert is served with a coconut macaroon for dunking. The brothers hope this will appeal to the English love of a brew.
I've seen people drink around 10, 12 cups a day, so I think, yeah, it's a nice quirk.
Maison Macy's creation. A biscuit teacup and saucer, served with an Earl Grey and lemongrass-infused custard and a dunking macaroon.
Is lemongrass an ingredient that's quite familiar to you?
Not really. In French cooking, we don't really use lemongrass.
You had any disasters along the way?
We broke a few cups.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I feel like I'm Alice in Wonderland at a Mad Hatter's tea party. The biscuit was really crispy, light, nice flavour, wonderfully sort of caramelised on the edges and those crispy pieces. The custard inside is more like a lemongrass milk. The coconut macaroon really balances the flavours all together, and the presentation is exceptional.
Thank you. I love that. The way you've created a whole experience out of an ingredient and a method is incredibly clever.
I think the judges appreciated the technicality that went into making the cup.
A cup of tea is typical English, so to be Britain's best bakery, it was a little wink to it.
And from a presentation and creativity point of view, I thought it was absolutely ingenious.
They've showed incredible technical skill.
Maison Macy have captivated the judges with their flair and imagination. And the final bakery to take on the wildcard bake, Frost and Snow. They've decided that the key to producing a winning bake is experimenting.
We had a little go yesterday and developed an idea of having a biscuit base with an element of our sponge in.
For their second attempt, the community bakers are planning a spin on an American tea cake, creating a vanilla bean cupcake on a lemongrass shortbread base and then topping it off with lemongrass icing.
Do you want to make the shortbread now then?
For cupcake makers Kath and Paul, the biscuit is pushing them into uncharted baking territory.
Shortbread, that's completely new to us. That's probably our biggest risk.
To make the shortbread, Paul combines margarine, castor sugar, flour and stem ginger, and then gets to work on the lemongrass.
Can you smell it in there? You've got a more sensitive nose than I have.
For centuries, the oil extracted from lemongrass has been used as an effective mosquito repellent known as citronella.
And you had to have more than me in your bag. So competitive.
Whilst they bake for 20 minutes, Kath and Paul turn their attention to the tea cake filling.
Just kind of working out what ingredients to put where, whether to have flavoured sponge or not flavoured sponge.
They decide to give the cupcakes an additional flavour hit by soaking them in ginger syrup.
This might be a bit strong, actually.
They combine the sponge and shortbread and smother them in a lemongrass and ginger icing.
Well, it's certainly different.
And the verdict?
The biscuit is really nice.
But it still needs work.
It's really sweet.
Too much icing?
Yeah.
With a few revisions, Kath and Paul are confident they can win the challenge.
We've got chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frost and Snow's final creation, a lemongrass and ginger tea cake with a shortbread base, vanilla sponge centre and a lemongrass and ginger icing.
How many attempts did it take for you to get to this stage?
4 attempts. Same concept, but just variations of flavour.
Oh dear. What I've just tasted is very sweet, first and foremost. I'm not getting any of the ginger come through, and I'm not getting any of the sort of real lemongrass, that sherbety fizz that I was hoping for.
It's missing an element. It needs ramping up with flavour. So really, from a constructive point of view, that biscuit needs to be that kind of ginger that just goes straight through, yeah?
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm getting biscuit, sponge and icing and that real sweetness.
Yeah.
I was hoping for better comments.
The judges were concerned about the flavour and that it probably wasn't intense enough.
What I did like from Frost and Snow, they'd taken lemongrass and by fizzing it over the top of their fancy, you could actually identify the ingredients straight as you arrived at the table.
It really lacked an element, and it lacked lemongrass.
Frost and Snow's over-sweetened tea cake lacked the all-important lemongrass flavour. Maison Macy's imaginative cuppa left the judges enthralled. And Vera's ice cream sandwich was refreshing, but also short on lemongrass. But the winner's title is still up for grabs, as the judges turn up the heat once more in the Baker's Dozen Challenge.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites, sponsored by Febreze.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I want $1 million. I want a helicopter to take me to the airport. And when I get there, I want a fully fueled plane waiting. And if my demands aren't met, I eat one of the hostages.
Did he say eat?
Yeah, you heard me. Eat.
I think he's gonna eat Gary.
And it's gonna be delicious.
Let's get comfortable. You've got an itch in your most intimate area. What are you gonna do? Scratch it in the queue? No can do. Let's do something about it. Vagisil Medicated Cream, created by our experts to give you the fast relief you need. Vagisil, your intimate health experts.
If I could, then I would. I'd go wherever you will go.
All natural. Twinings fruit infusions. Make water wonderful.
Bill here just saved £304 on his car insurance at Money Supermarket, and now feels so good he thinks he can run with wolves. There are no wolves in Croydon.
Malcolm, today's a good day. Let's run.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day.
98% of people could save with us and feel as free as Bill. Bill, you're so Money Supermarket.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites, sponsored by Febreze.
At Judging HQ, the competition for Britain's best bakery is reaching boiling point. 3 bakeries from Birmingham have one last chance to prove that they should progress to Friday's Central England and Wales regional final. It's time for the Baker's Dozen Challenge. Today's bakeries have just 2 hours to make a baker's dozen, that's 13, at the judge's choice. All must follow the same recipe using their own choice of ingredients. Today's baker's dozen is a Spanish favourite, empanadas. These crisp golden pastry pockets are traditionally stuffed with spinach, ricotta cheese and pine nuts, and take their name from the Spanish verb empañar, to coat in bread.
We're looking for quality and consistency.
Very best of luck. Get baking!
First, the bakers get to work on their pastry by mixing flour, oil, salt, warm water and yoghurt. Community Bakery Frost and Snow are cupcake bakers, so making pastry is not something they do every day.
I never made pastry like this before.
It's something new for us and it's way out of our comfort zone, but we'll do our best.
French baking brothers Maison Macy are no strangers to pastry, but they know they need to bring a flavour boost to their challenge.
I'm adding smoked sea salt. The smoked sea salt will add smoky flavour to the dough.
Have you got any little added extras going in?
I'm going to put some infused saffron in the actual dough, in the water of the dough.
I like the idea of the saffron going into the pastry to add that real additional flavour before it's fried and that wonderful yellow colour.
Over at Vera's Caribbean Bakery, the mother and daughter team are at an advantage when it comes to empanadas. They closely resemble their best-selling product.
Do you make this style of pastry?
Without the yogurt, yeah.
Right, okay.
And it's just kind of like the same principle, so...
You must have been jumping for joy because it's quite similar to the patty.
Yeah, but it's just the thickness of the pastry, so I just hope that it comes out all right.
The dough is chilled for 30 minutes, allowing it to relax so that when the bakers cut and divide the pastry, it won't shrink.
Too thick.
Too thick,
yeah.
Mitch and Peter will be looking for a thin, crisp pastry, which is making community baker Kath nervous.
This is quite a tense moment for me. This is the biggest component of the empanada, and if the pastry isn't right, then we'll have a big problem because it's kind of the first thing you see and you taste.
Over at Vera's, Natalie realises Mum Vicky has made too little pastry.
Pastry, you need more of this, you know?
What, you got to make extra?
You need more of this?
I only done 8 grams.
You need more of this?
Do you want to make more?
Natalie makes another batch, but consistency is key, so she needs to ensure hers is identical to her mother's.
Oh, Mum.
And there's the water.
Pastry rolled and cut, the bakeries turn their attention to their filling. Spinach, ricotta and pine nuts. French patissier Remy fries spinach with garlic, shallots and smoked sea salt, leaving it to reduce to intensify the flavour.
I'm just gonna let them rest to drain the water out, so the filling inside the empanadas won't be too runny and it won't make the dough soggy.
Over at Frost and Snow, cupcake baker Paul enhances their filling with rosemary and artichokes. But they're not confident about the spinach.
Well, I will just steam that amount.
Yeah. So you don't think we should do any more than that?
No, because it's going to be too much spinach.
Okay.
So 1 little slice?
Mitch thought the spices in Vera's patties overwhelmed the flavour in their speciality bake. So the flavours in the Caribbean baking duo's empanadas have got to be top-notch.
What my mum's doing is she's adding her own Vera's touch to it. She's making it different to everybody else. She's trying to add the Caribbean spice to it.
What's great to see is that Vera's are taking their Caribbean fusion, that wonderful kind of uninhibited sort of creativity, and putting that inside.
But too many could take them off brief, so Vicky will need to spice with care.
Bakeries, you've had 1 hour. You're halfway through the Baker's Dozen Challenge.
After seasoning the subtly flavoured ricotta with earthy nutmeg, the French patisserie brothers at Maison Macy combine it with spinach and pine nuts, ready for filling. Folding the empanadas can be a challenge, but Peter's got a neat trick.
Empanada dough, it's a very forgiving dough. It's kind of stretchy and it allows you to get it really nice and thin. So, take your egg yolk and then just brush it round 1/2. Don't overfill them. You just want enough to fill it. Fold the dough over, put your fingers all the way around to get rid of the air, and then you can either crimp it with a fork or you can turn it until it crimps it completely shut, and then it's ready to cook.
Maison Macy fill and crimp their empanadas with military precision. Over at Frost and Snow, they're achieving identical empanadas and saving time by using a pastry crimper to fold their bakes. But they've misjudged how much filling they need.
How many have you got left to make?
4.
And you've got that much filling?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Have you got any more?
We do not know.
We're looking for consistency and quality across our entire Baker's Dozen.
Yes. We don't have any ricotta.
With the entire challenge at stake for Kath and Paul, they have to find more ricotta for their filling.
Excuse me, Can I borrow your ricotta?
Sure, but there is some nutmeg in it and salt and pepper.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But using Maison Macy's seasoned ricotta for their final 4 empanadas will mean Frost & Snow's Baker's Dozen will contain 2 different fillings.
The ricotta had some salt and pepper and a small bit of nutmeg in, which obviously is a really strong flavour and was not in the first 9.
Fair play for them for blagging a bit more ricotta. I think, you know, that's good, but it's going to be totally inconsistent.
Over at Vera's, the Caribbean bakers may have consistency worries of their own.
Shall I wash these up? 6 that look like this and 6 that look like that.
Natalie has crimped her empanadas in 2 different styles, but Mitch and Peter will be looking for 13 identical bakes. The pastries are deep fried to give them a golden crust. With 13 to cook, time is of the essence.
Our bakeries are really up against it now. They've got 32 minutes left and I can only see 2 cooked empanadas. Bearing in mind that each of these empanadas are going to take on average 3 to 4 minutes to deep fry, and they've got half an hour left and they've all got a baker's dozen. The maths just don't add up.
No. Just a bit running over time, but I think I'll make it.
Unfortunately, I'm concerned that we will not have enough time to finish frying, so I'm trying to put as much as I can into the deep fryer.
French pâtissières Maison Macy finish frying their pastries with time to spare and pop them in the oven to bake off any excess oil.
Bakeries, you have 5 minutes left till the end of the challenge.
They're like sardines in a can.
Get the other one, quick. Ooh, mamma mia.
And Frost & Snow and Vera's are taking it to the wire.
That's it, bakeries, your time is up.
I'm never buying ricotta cheese again.
They've all produced a baker's dozen, but have they done enough?
I think we still are confident. We've done the best that we could for the empanadas.
How do you think we've done?
I think we've done quite good.
Yeah, we've done pretty well, haven't it?
Yeah.
We did manage to get a baker's dozen out on the plate, and I think that that's what mattered.
3 bakeries desperate to go through to Friday's regional final. And as judging approaches, only one stands a chance of becoming Britain's best bakery.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites, sponsored by Febreze.
Barocca, packed with energy-releasing vitamins and minerals, so you can be you, but on a really good day.
Linda Turner. You're our kind of person. You're not satisfied until the customer's satisfied. No job is too big or too tough. If anyone's giving extra, it's you, Linda. And at Halifax, we think people who give extra should get extra back from their bank. That's why we give you £100 cash back when you switch your current account to us. Linda, you deserve it.
Can I have your attention about the workplace pension? Did I forget to mention? Millions of people are already benefiting from being enrolled in the workplace pension. So can I have your attention?
You should have done the wiki wiki. Your one sounds better than mine.
Let's do those things that can't be done. Like less fuel in for more miles out. And impossible made possible.
Refreshing afternoon entertainment. Everyday favourites, sponsored by Febreze.
At Judging HQ in Derbyshire, 3 bakeries from Birmingham are minutes away from finding out which of them has secured a place in the Wales and Central England regional final. They've been joined by loyal supporters who want to cheer them on. All 3 teams are about to present their baker's dozen, spinach and ricotta empanadas. Only one bakery will make it to the next round. That decision is down to our expert judges. Award-winning chef Peter Sidwell and cake baker extraordinaire Mitch Turner will settle for nothing less than excellence. First up, it's French baking brothers Maison Macy. Earlier, the judges couldn't taste the chartreuse in their Episcopal, but thought they showed imagination and creativity with their biscuit teacup. Will their empanadas with nutmeg, garlic and shallots give the judges what they're looking for?
I have to say, I do think they all look pretty consistent. You've got an even bake on all of them, which, considering you have to deep fry them individually, is not an easy thing to achieve.
You also cooked them in the oven for a little while, didn't you?
Just about 5–10 minutes just to dry a bit the edges.
The appearance of the pastry has impressed. Now for the all-important taste.
The saffron really kicks through in the pastry, and I like that.
The dough is a little chewy, but it's quite comforting. It's got a wonderful texture. The spinach is coming right through. It's got that depth of flavour with the garlic and shallots, which I think was a really good move.
That's been one of the nicest things I've tasted from you today.
Next up, it's Caribbean baking mum and daughter duo, Vera's. Earlier, Mitch thought the flavour of their jerk patties was overpowered by chili pepper, but their ice cream sandwich showed invention. Can their Caribbean take on a Spanish empanada excite the judges?
There's a little bit of difference in the crimping.
We decided to do 6 of one and 6 of another kind.
But we were looking for consistency.
Yes, I got carried away, just put it like that.
Do you feel like you've been able to put your stamp on this while still staying in the recipe?
Some things we left out.
You mean the pepper?
Yes, the pepper.
Will Vera's make up for inconsistent crimping styles with an evenly spiced filling?
I'm getting just a very tiny tingle, which I like. That's good.
You have pulled back on the chilli. I can still sense it there, but it's sort of rounded the flavour, which is good. I really like the pastry. It is crispy and has a nice bite to it.
The pastry is actually is a little too thick, but what I did taste tasted good.
The last of the empanadas to be served up belonged to community cupcake bakers Frost and Snow. The judges thought they'd oversweetened their lemongrass and ginger tea cake, yet found their red velvet cupcakes comforting. But they didn't bring enough filling for their empanadas and had to borrow extra ricotta from Maison Macy.
Visually, you've got a consistent shape and the crimp around the edges looks really good. Now, you ran out of filling, didn't you?
Yes.
We're going to find that these taste different. We haven't heard that yet. That is really crispy.
Have they redeemed themselves with their pastry?
It's got a crunch to it. And it's perfectly sealed in all the flavour of what you've put in there. Out of the 3 bakeries that I've tried, this has been the nicest, crispiest pastry. It is quite shy on the spinach. Guessing this is the second batch.
I'm actually getting the artichokes and the pine nuts through first. You put a good amount of ricotta in here, so it's really held the moistness. As a concept, as a flavour, I actually really like it.
Judging over, the bakeries face a tense wait while the judges deliberate.
I was really pleased that at Vera's Caribbean Bakery they had seasoned their empanada filling rather than flavoured it with chilli.
But it was just the inconsistency of the presentation that's let them down.
Vera's have really shown us today that they're not afraid to experiment.
They've kind of got this multicultural approach to their baking. I actually think that's quite representative of Birmingham.
I do believe we have a chance of going through, but right now I'm 50-50.
One bakery delivered 13 that were all the same, and that was Maison Macy.
And they delivered on flavour.
I was really underwhelmed with the flavour on their Episcopal. From the wildcard bake, we were looking for ingenuity, creativity and skill. That's a good name. One bakery delivered that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident we can win today and move on to the next stage.
Frost and Snow, we had 2 different types of filling across our baker's dozen, and that doesn't give us consistency.
I thought they did really well at this challenge in terms of the pastry.
I thought they were going to be one-trick ponies with their cupcakes, but they've shown that they have potential in lots of different areas.
We're just as sort of capable of winning as everybody else.
I think out of all the 3 bakeries, one has certainly nudged itself forward. And I think we need to go and tell them right now.
There can only be one bakery that goes through to the Wales and Central England regional final. And today, that bakery is... Maison Macy!
It was great winning this heat. It's rewarding, and hopefully we can go further.
Gutted, really gutted, but you know, the best man won at the end of the day, so there you go.
They're amazing bakers, and just the fact we were in the contest with them is a real achievement for us.
It's great to go through this heat, and hopefully we'll go through the next one as well.
Maison Macy are worthy winners today. I feel they have shown the most promise.
They need to really come out with their competitive fighting spirit to show us more of what we've seen a little glimpse of.
Next time, 3 Welsh bakeries enter the fray. The heat is on as a father and son team bake a spicy surprise.
Oh, crikey.
Ooh. A French patissier hopes his flair for flavour will win the day.
Quite often take risk in flavours and I use.
And a vegetarian baker is pushed to breaking point.
We might be fighting a losing battle.
As the search continues for Britain's best bakery.